What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It is your boy D Dyson. Now today, I'm going to review season finale of Game of Thrones. Now, have to say that I'm equally disappointed from my last video from episode 5. I'm equally disappointed only because they did not know what to do with this show. You had a whole year to come up with a really good send-off and not make it rushed. Now, I felt like the writing was lazy, and after Battle of Winterfell, it just got lazy. Like, you didn't know what to do, and they just didn't know how to fit everything in with 6 episodes. So I've heard stories of how HBO tried to give them more money, or vice versa, how Game of Thrones tried to get HBO more money to make a longer season of season 8. But I mean, I guess a contract is a contract whenever you guys first signed it. Don't know why you guys did that in the first place, but whatever. So I'm just really disappointed because all the time, the energy, my emotional prowess invested into this show led up to disappointment. Now, even with Breaking Bad, I didn't watch Breaking Bad when it came out. I watched it after the show was over. So I binge watched the whole thing. So I can only imagine the same type of feel for Breaking Bad, knowing that, you know, how Walter White ended up dying and Jesse got away. So I'm just kind of like, this is the same thing. And that's something that makes me upset, is that when shows, you invest so much into shows, they don't know how to end it. They don't know how to end it. Given probably that's why soap operas are still running to this day, because they don't know how to end it. But with shows, when you invest in a good show, they seldomly give you a proper send-off, and they don't know how to like end it on a good note, like end it to make sure everyone was satisfied. This is the second major show that I've watched that they don't know how to end. And even the fact that you gave season 7 to season 8 a full year to really come up with a strategy of how you could fit everything in 6 episodes without making it drag. Now, they could have went about it a different way. You had a whole year to figure this out, knowing that you guys are exceeding the books that George R.R. Martin has written. So you guys could have collaborated with George R.R. Martin to come up with a finish and a good climax to sending off his story, you know? So that's what made me kind of really upset. And I'm just kind of like, man, you know, if that's what you guys are willing to do, then, you know, I guess we have to accept it. We have no choice but to accept it. But another thing that kind of pissed me off about this was that we had a lot of leaks on the internet. Like, somebody leaked the script or plot details, and I saw those in comments, and I don't want to believe it. You know, they've been said, okay, yeah, Jon kills Daenerys, Tyrion goes, gets arrested, Bran becomes king. That was like the major plots of this story. And then it was like, yeah, Arya sails away to another, you know, sails away, and Sansa becomes Lady of Winterfell. They declare their independence. So when I watched it, and I was like, damn, they really did leak the plot details of the season finale. And I'm like, which further made me more disappointed that you guys sent it off that way, because they really wanted to emulate Lord of the Rings, when that's why Lord of the Rings is so beloved, because they didn't emulate it off anybody. But with Game of Thrones, you emulated the season finale off of Lord of the Rings, the last one. And I'm just kind of like, man, really? Like, you see Frodo, you know, go off, and that's kind of like Arya. You see Bran become the king, you know, kind of like Aragorn. So I'm just kind of like, you know, and even when Tyrion was sitting there in their court, whatever, and was like, I think Bran should be king, he flew. He became the three-eyed raven. Nobody in that court was like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean he's a three-eyed raven? Like, what does that mean? Like, assuming that everybody knows that he's a three-eyed raven. And then the fact that a couple of seasons ago, episodes ago, that he was saying, I can't be Lord of anything. So I'm just kind of like, you know, and even when Bran said, "Why do you think I came all this way?" So I'm like, really? Like, so the whole time you knew you were going to be king, so you just had to let everything play out because you knew that you were going to be king of the 6 kingdoms? Like, I'm like, come on, man. You guys could have written this way better than what it was. You know, and even with Grey Worm, like, Grey Worm was like, that's not enough. Like, when he was like, something with Tyrion, like, hey, you know, like, you know, we're going to take Jon. Jon's a prisoner too. Like, we execute him over that. And I'm like, and they're just kind of like, they just overruled Grey Worm. Like, you know, I'm like, he was fighting for his queen. You killed my queen. I have a whole army behind my back. We can go to war right now. Like, and he was just like, that's not enough. And then all of a sudden, yeah, Tyrion becomes hand of Bran Stark. And then Jon's like freed, like he's banished back to where he was. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if it comes full circle or not, but I'm just kind of like, this is the send-off that you guys are going to give people, that Bran is the king of the 6 kingdoms. And you guys could have truly voted in another direction. Like, hey, just have Gendry be the king. You know, I know he doesn't know nothing. Let Davos, you know, make him a good person. You know, I'm like, just anything. You know, that's why I was kind of like, really? Like, this is the route you guys are going to go? But whatever. I mean, I guess, and even a lot of people complained about Jon not petting his wolf, Snow. I think that's his name. And then this episode, he finally petted him. I guess they didn't have enough money for the CGI, as the director was saying in the last one. So now he petted him in this one. And it just, I was so upset. Then they said that they saw water bottles at the courts. By Sam's leg, there's a water bottle, and then by Sir Davos, it's a water bottle by their leg, and it's so funny, like that people caught this. So that's another mishap in Game of Thrones, that you have water bottles and the 7 kingdoms, and then you had also a coffee while everyone's drinking their ale. So that's why I'm like, it's so funny. But I'm really glad that it's over, because the hype train around this was magnanimous to me. Like, it was, the hype train just wouldn't stop. And I've been watching Game of Thrones since season 4. Season 4, 2014. Yeah, 2013, 2014. And been watching it ever since. And I've never seen this many Game of Thrones fans in my life. Like, back then, nobody ever talked about it. They were just like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch no medieval. It's gruesome, and it's always nudity. And I heard, you know, the brother's fucking her sister. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. Now it's a cultural phenomenon, you know, like everyone's watching. So I was kind of waiting for it to end, because I'm kind of one of those people that don't like to be on the bandwagon, knowing that if something's good and nobody's watching, I love to watch it, because I'm like, hey, you know, nobody's watching this. It's very good TV. And then all of a sudden everyone starts watching it, and now the pressure is on them to make sure that their performance is good, or to make sure. It's just too much that goes into when the public starts watching, everyone starts watching it, the whole culture starts watching it, and they fall victim to all that pressure, you know, because it's just too many people watching it. Like, when nobody was really watching it, you can tell from season 1 to like season 4 or 5, you can tell that, you know, especially in season 1 and 2, you could tell it was just a free for all. You could do whatever. 4, 5, 6, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, a lot of people starting to catch wind of Game of Thrones, so they had to make a better production. So you can just tell how that all plays, you know, come to a factor with this last season, knowing that so many people became Game of Thrones fans. They buckled under the pressure like any other TV show. And I'm hugely disappointed by that, knowing that I invested so much of my time in this, and I really fell in love with the characters. Tyrion being my all-time favorite character, because he was very smart. One of my favorite episodes was when he had gone to court in front of his father, and then how he let everyone have it. Like, he just was like, dude, I've been doing so much for you guys. I should have let y'all die, you know, when Stannis was coming. So I'm just like, that was a pivotal moment to me. Like, you're the shortest person on this TV show, and you have the most truthfulness coming out of you. And I love that. I love Jon Snow. I love his arc, his, you know, how he just descended into the Castle Black and how he just was the first one to be like, his whole fight was against the White Walkers, and then you let Arya kill the Night King. Unexpected, but not satisfying. You know, I'm like, because it was very unexpected, I was like, wow, Arya Stark kills the Night King. And where does that leave Jon? And as you've seen after that, Jon was just kind of like a secondary character because Arya eclipsed him, which to me didn't make sense because Jon Snow has always been the arc of the whole show, you know. And then seeing how Cersei and Jaime died together, which really pissed me off. I'm like, Cersei should have went out horribly and in a vicious fashion of some sort, and it didn't happen. Jaime, same thing. You fight Euron Greyjoy and just not the same. And then you see Brienne of Tarth with her Raven sigil, representing that she's the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard for Bran, and that the Raven is a sigil, writing in Jaime's field life, you know, kind of like, yeah, she didn't want to, you could tell she kind of like, yeah, I wanted to say that he knighted me and we slept together, and I was like, but she did her due diligence, I guess, you know, because she was, you know, when Jaime was talking to her in that episode, in that scene where he was like, yeah, you know, Lord Commander writes in these, so, you know, she filled out his book of the rest of his life, so kind of made him feel good about good deeds, and it was basically, he said, all the good deeds go in this book, so she wrote all the good deeds that he did, and it filled up the whole page and back page, so. But I'm still like, I was just ready for it to be over. Truthfully, I was ready for it to be over. It became such a hype train that it killed the show. You know, it's just like they became a victim of their own demise. It just killed the show because of the hype train. So, if you enjoyed my review of the season finale of Game of Thrones, subscribe to my channel, post comment down below. Let me know if you guys really loved Game of Thrones, or did you hate the season finale? Did you hate it all together? Did you hate the whole season of 8? And what is the next show that everyone's going to be talking about? Let me know. Let me know. So like this video, and of course, post your comments, subscribe to my channel. It is your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.